So, all right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second class for the UI UX today. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. Welcome once again to another class for the UI UX. Also, please, we just have two persons currently. So, please go back to Discord on your UI UX room. Please make sure you drop a message so we have more people joining the call already. The instructor is currently with us. So welcome, God bless, welcome, God bless. So please, for every one of us that are currently here joining us, please do well to drop a message on Discord so we'll have more persons joining us. All right, so we have God bless Biokro. Sorry, God bless. I don't know if I got that correctly. So we have God bless
Yeah.
Biokro from Ghana.
Okay.
Sorry about that. From Accra,
No
Ghana.
worries.
He's a software engineer. He's a software engineer and he's also a UI UX designer. So God bless will be taking us today on today's class. So thank you everyone. So God bless, please you can start. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening once again. God bless Dear Crow. I know that the other name is a little bit of mouthful, so you can just call me Fafa. Fafa is my local name, so it's easier. I'm a software engineer. I'm also a UI UX developer. So the reason why I said developer and not designer is, I design as well as develop. There is a difference between those two. So today we're going to be looking at cross-functional teams. A little bit about myself. I love technology. Anything that has to do with technology, I really love it. I'm a startup founder too in e-commerce. We are still in the testing stage, so my product is not yet live, and I've worked on a lot of cross-functional teams. So I have a little bit of knowledge when it comes to working with cross-functional teams, which I am very happy to share with you today. So, that being said, I don't know if we can just get started or, yeah, I think we are just starting. So, cross-functional teams. What is it? What is a cross-functional team? Sorry. So, you could see that in an organization, actually, we have lots of departments, not just a single department, but different departments. And for the need to collaborate effectively, for us to kind of like move the product effectively, there is a need for us to form cross-functional teams. So a cross-functional team is simply a team of individuals from different departments forming a team together. Okay, so we bring different people from different departments, and then we form a team together with them. So assuming we have the sales team, we have the marketing team, we have the products, we have the customer service department. So those are just some of the departments. Some teams can be very large. Some organizations, they have R&D, they have they have a lot of departments, they have manufacturing and all that. So we kind of like pick people from all those teams to form a team, as a separate team. So those kind of you know, that kind of team is called a cross-functional team. So simply a cross-functional team is just a team from different departments working together. I understand this is a UI UX class, right? So we are closely, when it comes to UI UX, we are closely related to the products and then the customers. Okay, so we work more when it comes to cross-functional teams, we are going to be working more on cross-functional teams more than anybody else. So we need to have that understanding more than anybody else. Forget about these guys in accounting and finance and those people. Of course, they may be part of the team, but what do? They just give money, right? But then the UI UX designers, you guys are kind of like an important ingredient of the team. And when you look at the work that a UI and UX designers do, you could see that it's quite huge, it's quite broad, putting them in the team, because their functions kind of like move across the whole organization. Because UI UX, the user experience, UX stands for user experience, right? So the user experience aspect of the business does not just come from customer service aspect. No, it starts right from where we are designing the product from, right? So I don't want to go deep into product development here, but then I just want to stick to cross-functional teams. So you can see how important it is for you as a UI UX designer or UI UX developer to be part of a cross-functional team. Now, when you are part of a cross-functional team, there is a lot of benefits that come with being, with it. So you see, let's look at it this way. We have let's assume we have an organization where all of us, we work separately. We just share files, and then we know, okay, R&D is doing this, and then develop. Let's say marketing has to actually prepare to market it. You can see how that could be. We can be working, and we may have a product, and the other department doesn't know about the product, right? We alert them when we feel that the product is ready for us to alert them, and maybe they may be caught off guard, or maybe they just get a hint that, okay, there is this product coming, but then they are just there, and then it comes to them, right? So the cross-functional team actually has a lot of benefits, especially when we are talking about the UI UX designers working together with people like the development team. They benefit a lot. Okay, they benefit a lot. There is this field, field, I don't know then another word to use for field here. Would I say battle? Yeah, there is this battle between the UI UX designers and then the programmers, the product developers, the developers themselves. If they don't work on cross-functional teams, there's a lot of problems that they face, right? So you could see that sometimes the UI UX team may come up with functions on a product, right, that it doesn't development finds it very difficult to implement. I quite remember I worked on a team on a health application, and then I was on a UI UX team, right? And then I was also I had a contract to also work on the front end, the mobile app. So we ended up designing a particular feature that it was easy for us to design it during designing stage, right? But when it comes to kind of like working the model, designing an algorithm to actually carry out the model, you can see that, okay, there is a lot of issues here. There's a lot of problem there. You can see that sometimes UI UX designers, some of them are more particular about how the product looks like. So they go ahead to pick complex designs, especially when it comes to the use of Flutter. Flutter is a new Google's new kid on the block. We use it to build mobile applications because it is easier to model some kind of UIs. The UI, those who are doing the designing don't really care about who is going to build it. They just go ahead and make the designs right in their quarters, and then they bring it out. So that's what we did. We actually went as a team, designed the screens and everything. I was so excited because it was looking beautiful. And then when it came back to us building the UI of the application, I was on the UI team. So we started building it, and we saw that, no, come on, this thing, that the animations that we were using and all that, it was really not, it was difficult for us to actually implement it. So you can see, if we were to be on a team where we were communicating everything, maybe before the design starts, the team meets, and then we kind of like talk about the design that we want to implement. If we were to have such an organization, the organization was small though, but if we were to have something like that going on, you could see that, all right from the scratch, the developers would have pointed it out that, listen, this thing that you are trying to implement, this particular feature, how are you thinking about the logic behind it? Because you are also a developer. Do you think this thing can be done by us in this team? We were all beginners at the time too. So you could see that if we had a cross-functional team, we could have discussed it. We could have spoken about it, and come up with alternatives to those things, and we weigh the cost and benefit. Are we actually looking at how the app is going to be beautiful, or are we looking at how the app is going to be easier for the customer to use? These are some of the things that we look at. So another benefit of working on a cross-functional team is that it improves coordination across platform. Yeah. Now, like I said earlier, one problem too is that during designing, you may if you don't involve other teams, like let's say finance, right? If you don't involve the finance team, you may end up designing a product where you don't know the budget allocated for the product, but then you design something way bigger than what we are expecting to spend, right? So who funds the rest? No, nobody's ready. So there's going to be a lot of issues there. So you can see how it's very awesome for us to have a team where there are people from various departments working with us. And also, we get it. The UI UX designers, there are people who love stuff that are beautiful. There are people who actually, brings out. They conceptualize a lot of things, right? They are deep thinkers, yeah. But you see, knowledge is not in one person's head. Okay, knowledge is really broad, and working on a cross-functional team actually paves the way for innovation and to happen, right? Because you maybe your head is too deep in it. You are not looking at the problem, right? You are not looking at this particular kind of problem. It happens to all of us, UI designers, UI UX designers. It happens. Sometimes you just have so much passion for whatever you are doing that you actually think way deeper, looking for the most, the deeper things that will bring the professionalism in you. You want to feel like, oh yeah, I did it. I actually worked on this. Actually, you want to show off like I'm a senior in this. I know this deep. I need to bring it up. But it's really an issue. So how does a cross-functional team comes here? People from different places will see the product differently. Honestly, when a developer is looking at a product, he sees it differently from when a UI UX designer is looking at a product. And then when the accountant is looking at the product, he also sees it differently from all of you. So when you bring these people who that have different knowledges from different backgrounds together, you can see that you have a pool of different eyes that could look at the product and look at it for what it is, rather than what the designing team is trying to make it look like. Because it's rather okay. It's more beneficial for us to look at it in house and look at the problems that the products have in house and fix it in house, but rather than allowing the product to go out onto the market before we kind of like have the issues coming from the market. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this before. Have you ever called a company to actually lodge a complaint, or maybe I want to make an inquiry, and they kind of like routed me, okay, wait, let's please hold on, I want to connect you to this particular department for it to work on it for you. Then you wait, the call is on hold, for some hours, no hours, sorry, for some minutes, and then somebody else picks up the call. Hello, please, what do you want? Then maybe I'm using your product, I have this and this and this, and I'm hoping you can help me. They say, hold on, they transfer you. That kind of chain, it happens when you don't have a cross-functional team, right? That is just the clear. Maybe the customer is not somebody who is into this thing, so the person may not realize it. But then if it happens to me, I know very well, okay, there's no cross-functional team there. Because one of the benefits of cross-functional team is handling situations like this. We don't need to route the call so much among departments like that. We have a team that is ready to tackle, the product is there, and the team is ready to tackle questions from every different angle for that particular problem. It works a lot. It helps in keeping customers. Yeah, it's like a customer retention strategy. Okay, so you are starting your journey in tech. That is why you are here today. You are listening to me. You are actually starting UI UX design. Maybe you go on to programming and all that, and it will shock you. Sometimes you may get gigs that as a software engineer that it doesn't involve that much coding. You're actually going to be working on a team with the customer service department, right? They are going to be working on a team like that. And these cross-functional teams are actually more concentrated in those areas very well, customer service. Because here lies the case, a call comes in like that. Okay, what is the problem? I'm trying to log into your website, but then I'm having this problem. Okay, what can you see? Now it's a team. We are there. The response team is there, right? We have the person who is good at the customer service. He knows how to talk to the people. So he's on the call with the guy. And then the call is, we are all listening. Okay, so what can you see? I can see 404 displayed on the screen. All right, 404. Okay, not found. Now there is a developer on the team there. Okay, 404 means that the page was not found. Let me check what's going on. Oh, I've seen 500 just written on the screen boldly. All right, there's a server issue. Immediately, I know there is a server issue. I push it out, server issue. All right, then the customer service is okay. All right, so please, this is it. Can you just hold on and refresh the page in about 2 minutes and see if it works? Now imagine there is no cross-functional team, and this call comes in. We have an error. I'm so sorry that I'm using these error codes for you. Okay, I'm very sorry, but I'm trying to paint a picture here. So the person calls in, we have an error. What is wrong? The page is not loading. I loaded it and I'm seeing just there's a HTTP error 500. What does it mean? All right, please hold on. Please hold on while I reroute a call for you to make that complaint, right? So the person there has routed a call to development team. Now, honestly, I don't know if you've ever seen a development, the office or the department for the developers. Look, no call goes there. Those people, we are like animals there. We have our cage there, and we don't like distraction. Nothing. We want to be there, and we want to work alone, right? Call comes in. Well, it rings for a while before it's picked. What is going on? Okay, this is the issue you're having. Okay, now this is a back end issue. I mean, front end people, we don't care about that, right? So hold on, we are going to call front end guy. Maybe he's having coffee at the backyard. You can see how messy that is. But then, assuming that a business is using your platform to run its operations, and then there is a break like that, and you have to route your customer through all these places for the customer to get help. You can see how frustrating it can be for the customer sometimes. You see, so it is really, really important for us to have a cross-functional team that is on standby just for that. And I've worked on such a team before. So when the error comes, okay, what is the error? We know what the error is. We push it up. Okay, this is the error. We all know it already. We the team is everybody is there, so we know what is going on, and we've actually pushed it, right? So the list goes on and on and on and on. Just keep an open mind and just think about it. Why would we have a cross-functional team at the first place? Why would we do that? When you look at it, you can see that okay, yeah, it's important so that situations are handled quickly, and also um, assuming we have a cross-functional team and there is something going on in their department, right? And then the team is at a meeting where we are going to discuss an issue about the product. Now, once we know whatever is happening in their department, it can be able to help another team there to be able to explain, okay, why this is not functioning. Let me give a typical example. Let's assume finance. They made a lot of sales, and then but all their sales are in credit. Okay, we are not liquid enough to actually make purchases for some time for some stuff that we need. And then production team, let's take a manufacturing team for instance. Production team needs to kind of like upscale their volume because maybe they made a forecast that there's going to be increase in order that is coming. You can see how that will be. Now if we are making the meeting now, the finance can be able to let us know that okay, there won't be any budget for this because this is what is going on. It kind of like cuts a lot of things short rather than allowing the production team to go ahead, make all the contracts, and then when it's time for funds to be released, then there's no money. Now you can see that I'm going from tech, I'm talking about production and all that, manufacturing and all that. When it comes to this product user interface, user experience design doesn't only work with tech products, it works with normal products as well. Okay.
Okay, sorry, God bless. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know. Are you moving your slides? Because it's just on the benefit of cross-functional team in product design. So I don't know if you're moving.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'm wrapping up with cross-functional teams, benefits, then we go to the next slide.
All right, thank you so much. Good.
Okay, so that does it on the benefits, and then okay, still benefits. Now, cross-functional teams have a lot of challenges as well. There are some challenges that we face in challenges that can come up when working on cross-functional teams. You can see that sometimes if there is no clear mission, then it's just a waste of time and waste of money. When you keep a cross-functional team, you can see that you are doubling the work that somebody needs to do. You are kind of like, you have to work in your department, and also you have to serve on this functional team as well. So if we don't have a clear mission on whatever we are supposed to do there, you can see that we'll have a lot of problems. We just come and waste our time, and then we go. And then there is also competing priorities. And this works, it works everywhere. Even you might be facing it in your workplace as well. You see, a lot of people try to push their own interest when it comes to functional teams. Take for instance, maybe the let's take a manufacturing firm for example. All right. So they have a cross-functional team, and then the production team's aim is to actually produce this number of volumes in order to take advantage of, let's say, there's a discount. So they want to buy a lot of raw materials and actually stock and produce more, right? Now, finance department is also looking at kind of like having a lot of money in net cash reserves, so they are willing to spend less. You see, so now everybody will be trying to push their own interests, right? Everybody will be trying to push what they feel should actually be, should actually benefit their department. There is a surplus of cash that has to be shared. Okay, why should we give it to the developers? I mean, what do they need to buy? They have all they need, right? Okay, R&D, they have a lot. They kind of like go into a lot of research, so we should give the money to them. You can see a lot of these things happen. Priorities, people will try to satisfy their priorities ahead of other people. And also there will be power struggle. There is a lot of power struggle when it comes to cross-functional teams. Mainly people who are picked to work on cross-functional teams are not actually people who are working at the lower level. Let's say there are people who are, they've gotten to some stage, they've gotten some experience in the business. That is why they are sometimes appointed to serve on these cross-functional teams. And you can see it have, so our team is there. I feel like I'm a boss. You also feel like you're a boss. You can see there is this kind of power struggle. Everybody trying to kind of like take control, and it really affects the operations of cross-functional teams. And some of the members of the cross-functional teams, it's a cross-functional team, right? So you can see that these are people from other functional areas of the organization. They are also from other departments. So you can see it actually becomes a problem for them to participate in this in their two positions at the same time. Take it, he works in the department as whatever he's doing there, and also he has to serve here as well. His department needs him at this particular time to do something, and also the cross-functional team needs him at this particular time to do something. So you can see it actually kind of like makes creates the room for conflict of interest in the setting. So you could see those are some of the things. Okay, I don't have much slides. That is so. Yep, there we go. Not much to be said about cross-functional teams. We know what a cross-functional team is. We look at some of the benefits that cross-functional teams face. We look at the challenges, that they have. So I think I'll open the room for Q&A. I think we should be more of a discussion. Do we have a Q&A session? Hello? Is there a Q&A session? Anybody there?
Okay, yeah, God bless. I can hear you. Yes, so
All
they'll
right.
start dropping their questions. We have a Q&A session. So please, for
Okay.
everyone, please start dropping your questions on the chat and we'll display it on the screen.
Okay. So do I need to stop sharing screen?
Yeah, you can stop sharing your screen.
Okay. So
Okay, for everyone, please, if you have any questions, please start dropping them on the chat and we're going to display them on the screen so that your instructor will take them one after the other.
okay.
Um, okay, guys, I believe you must have questions because I can see in the chat some of you are saying this is the first time you're hearing about cross-functional teams. So go ahead and ask your questions. And also remember that designers are always at war with developers. So that's one thing you should start asking for. I think Fafa, we can agree on the same line that developers are always at war with designers.
Okay, I have one question. Is it possible for a system not to have a cross-functional team? Well, yeah, it is. It is possible for them to, to not have a cross-functional team, but I don't think it's the best. But you see, most of the businesses that are in our area of the world are mainly small startups. One thing is that maybe I didn't say this aspect. Maintaining a cross-functional team is really expensive. You are putting people from different. Okay, you are bringing people from different organizations, okay, to come and then I say different departments to come and form a different committee to work on. So you have to maintain them, you have to fund them, right? So if the organization cannot do that, then okay, they may not decide not to maintain a cross-functional team. There are a lot of organizations out there that don't have a cross-functional team, but then it's really important for you to have one. It helps a lot looking at the benefits that we've listed. If I've answered your question or you need clarification on anything else, please you can ask the question again, and then I will. You can ask what you need a clarification on, and I will let you know. All right. So another question: can a cross-functional person be called a generalized person? No, no, they can't be called a generalized person. Now, when we form a cross-functional team, you are not coming to perform a job different from the job you do. For instance, I'm an engineer. I don't really know about health. Okay, so assuming our company is a health startup, and they deploy their services over the cyberspace, right? And so we the engineers are there to build the systems they need and maintain the systems they need. So I'm not a generalized person. I am just there to perform the duties that I'll be performing in my department, but I am doing it in conjunction with somebody else, so that we are kind of like forming a pool of resources for easy access, right? So I don't think I'm not you'll be a generalized person working on a cross-functional team. Although as time goes on, if you're somebody who wants to learn from somebody else, you kind of like learn in between. Yeah, I started out as a UI UX designer, and I ended up into tech. All right, so would it be good to add this to your CV as a designer? Yes, please. It's important. Now, that means thank you for this question. Yes, it's really important to add it to your CV as a designer. Now, if let's assume you are writing an application for a front end development team, front end development position, and you put that okay, I'm also a designer. I know how to use Figma. I know how to use Draw.io. I know how to use Adobe XD. By the way, these are just some of the softwares we use in UI design. And then the front end engineer needed is somebody in React. I'm so sorry. I'm using terms like this because I believe this is a tech class, so we are kind of like comfortable. React JS is a front end JavaScript library. It's a framework we use to build you know the front end of applications. If on your CV, that means that okay, wow, it's actually the design aspect, and then the development aspect. For me, all the front end jobs that I've had before, I stated that yeah, I'm a designer. And why is it good that I'm a designer? Okay, when I'm designing it's easy for me to communicate between development and then design team. because I know what the person is trying to implement, and I know the packages that can help us to implement those faster. You get it? So please never shy away. Put it there. You are a designer. You know how to use this. You know how to use that. It's a plus for you. Trust me. I hope I've answered your question well. All right. Please, in other words, can we call cross-functional teams a product team? Wow. Cross-functional teams, product teams, no. The product team is different from the cross-functional team. All right. So in the organizations that I've worked so far, the product team is actually made up. That is where R&D happens, research and design happens, and that is where development happens. But when we are talking about cross-functional team, it goes in a way where we even have finance participating on such teams, right? So it's not the same as the product team. It's the product, okay? But the cross-functional teams go beyond that one. They kind of like, you see, the cross-functional team can discuss stuff like inbound, what happens before out on the market there. So the cross-functional teams can work, their scope is far broader than just the product team. So yeah, no, they are not the same. Next question. Okay, Miss Catherine Deary, why does designers and developers have issues all the time mostly? Okay, you actually ask this question like you have I know a lot. Okay, I know a lot and I'm pumped with all this knowledge. I want to release it. So designing, my button, I want, when you click the button, it should kind of like make a pop sound, right? A pop animation kind of thing. Now you are the designer. You are using the software to drag, the thing there, call the animation you want to call on it, and it's working. Now development, these guys have to write actual code. The design is not there. They have to write logic. They have to write algorithms, right? So you can see that, okay, so developers are, okay, so, you think you can just bring it out because, you feel it's nice, but you're not thinking about us, right? And, the people that are most pissed, the back-end developers. These guys know nothing about front-end. Those who are hardcore back-end developers, they know nothing about front-end. And the thing is that some people may even do the designs without proper documentation on communicating requirements that they want to bring out, right? If you happen to have a design team that is quite lazy, they are just interested in designing and not the boring work like writing the documentation. The writing documentations are the boring part of it all. That is always given to the interns. They describe it, they give them what they do, and then they type it all. You don't want to do that. And now the thing comes, and the backend developer, how am I going to even implement this? You see, so you can see how it works, right? One person only knows how to write code, right? And one person knows design. And the person doing design cannot be frustrated at all. He knows how to bring it. Designers are so artistic. They like beauty. And there are people who, they like art. Their job sometimes makes them even have a calm, they can calm themselves through their jobs. Development is something that can actually bring the roughness out of you. It can frustrate you sometimes. I'm not trying to discourage anybody who wants to be a developer. Being a developer is one of the best things that can happen to you. Going into tech is awesome, but it's sometimes frustrating trying to write code. And if the designers are not being empathetic on you, they are bringing some weird designs, you are just going to suffer. So yeah, that's the field. I hope I answered the question, Madam Catherine. Okay, I'm confused. Please, you said cross-functional team doesn't mean being generalized. So how would it really reflect on how CV that we can cross-functional if it's not saying we are generalized? Okay, Huh. I'm sorry if you are confused a little bit about a generalized person and a cross-functional team. We are not saying a cross-functional person. We are saying a cross-functional team. Now, if you state on your CV that you worked on a cross-functional team, what it indicates to employers is that you know how to collaborate, right? You are good at collaboration. And it's different from being a generalist. Okay. I don't know how to okay, so look at it this way, right? So the cross-functional team, let's assume it will made up of the developer, made up of the finance guy, made up of the designers, the product design team, and then maybe a representative from the board, right? They form the cross-functional team. You can see when you put these people together, you have a pool of resource, a pool of human resource available to the organization to use at the time, right? But when you call a person a generalist, right? That person does not have a specialization. So that's the difference. A generalist may not have a specialization, but a cross-functional team is made up of people with specific specialities that are working hand in hand to accomplish a goal. So, yep, I hope I was able to answer that, Mr. Agoro, Mr. Agoro. Next question. What actually makes some designs uncodable? Okay, everything can be coded. Okay, and also, yeah, all right. So let me switch back onto the design side now. Sometimes some of the developers are really lazy. They know one thing, and that is what they want to know. They don't want to learn more. Okay, every design is codable, but then it depends on the person's knowledge. Sometimes maybe the deadline that is given to the engineer is actually really short. We need this product on the market for 3 months, and then you are bringing me a design that is I use Flutter, right? Flutter is used to build complex UI interfaces. So maybe Flutter is actually being maintained very well. Every now and then there are new versions coming up with new stuffs, right? And I am stuck on Flutter 2.8, right? Those are the things that I know up to. I have not really learned, and then you are bringing complex design from something that requires me to learn more. You can see that, okay, and I need to spend more time studying. So it's just about the time available for the project and then the thing that they have to learn. Development, coding is, you can't learn coding once and that is it. It can never be done anywhere in the world. You have to continue learning. It's a continuous thing. Okay. So everything is codable, but it depends on how the person on the job is actually up to date on whatever has to be done. And well, thank God we have ChatGPT now. Maybe we may have a lot of shortcuts going on. Next question. Okay, what are some tools and technologies that can be used to support collaboration among cross-functional team members? All right, thank you. We can use some, we use, okay, I don't know, we have different organizations. Sometimes we can set up a management system where each team, we kind of share resources among each other, right? We have a lot of technologies out there. We have a lot of enterprise management softwares out there that can help in interdepartmental collaboration. But I'm a developer, right? So the one that we use most is called Git. So we developers, we use Git a lot. So I don't need to be, we have a team, right? So we all have a Git is like an online, I'm tempted to say repo, but I'm trying to find a different word to use, not repository. Like a file, a management, a code management system, a version control system online that we use to manage our code, right? So the software is there. When we write the code, we push it. We test if the code is working. We collaborate and check if the code is working. If it's working, then we push it into the main. We have a main repo. We call some things branches, right? So we have a main branch. If the code is working, it's there. So if we need to make some changes, we bring it out onto a different branch, we clone it and bring it onto a different branch and work on it. So there are a lot of platforms. We don't have, I can't say there is a specific platform for us to use, right? So there are a lot that we can use. I have used Git a lot, but then in every organization, most organizations that I work, they all have their softwares through which we do all these kind of things. So, yep. Any more questions? When you talked about a customer calling for malfunction, does the cross-functional team have a customer service personnel in it? Okay. All right. So here's the thing. Sometimes when a call comes in, I use it as an example, right? So I'm trying. What company can I use as an example? What company can I use? Most of the telecos, they don't have the developers and the people are not sitting there at the same time. Okay, maybe the developers their desk is far off. Whoever is receiving the call, they are far off. But then once the person actually receives, but then there's a cross-functional team, right? Working over a system. Like I said, most of the organizations, they have their own management systems. They are working over. So the call comes in, the person gives the error, HTTP error 500. Now, the good thing about the cross-functional team is that we know we are in the team and this system is for us. So I need to be paying attention to it. So once the issue comes, the person logs it, then the next team member receives it immediately. Okay, this is what I have to do. Then the person works on it, right? They don't have to sit at one particular desk for it to happen. But then, once they have a cross-functional team and they have, how do you call it, a system through which they can share information in time, just in time, once the issue is happening, then they can function as cross-functional teams. Okay, next question. And yeah, they can have also, so customer service, they can be part. And I've heard there are plugins that can help convert designs to code in Figma. Is this true? Yeah, I've not tried it before. I've not tried it myself before, but I've heard a lot of people saying it. We have to look into that. But I've never tried it before, trying to convert code on, designs to code directly from Figma. I remember I was at a conference, it's a competition among I was in school, and somebody told me that they never code anything that they brought. They actually brought it out from Figma. I saw it as a bluff, but I will really look into that. Next question. If true, why don't cross-functional teams utilize this to produce the dispute between developers and design teams? All right, nice question, Mr. John Ojeba. Okay, like I said earlier, most of the companies, they are mainly startups. Okay, the well-established companies, they actually have systems for cross-functional teams to work, right? But you see, sometimes the companies, for instance, they pick a UI UX designer somewhere, right? The person designs everything, and then brings it later for them to design to develop. You see, so most of the startups don't have the team to maintain a cross-functional team, right? That is why there's this kind of dispute between them. But when you go to the well-established companies, most of these things are really less than that. And also sometimes you can see that people are trying to accomplish a lot of milestones at the same time, especially working on those projects that will actually give you some weird deadlines. The product needs to be finished in 2 months. 2 months, and we are going to build a robust something. That means that, okay, we don't even have time. Everybody needs to get code. Everybody needs to get working directly. So design comes, we start working like fast on it like that. Those are some of the issues. But in a well-established companies, cross-functional teams function. Next question, please. I asked a question if there are plugins that can be coded, but I think you answered that. But why do designers say something like, make sure your designs are codable? Why do designers say, are you talking about designers saying that it should be codable, or the developers saying it should be codable? I don't know about that, but let me see how best I can answer you. What do designers say? All right, so like I said, some of my experience is mainly with Flutter. I know there is React Native, there is Apache Cordova, which they use. That is PhoneGap. Used to be PhoneGap. Now they call it Apache Cordova or whatever. But React Native, Flutter, they are the topmost technologies right now. Ionic is there. But you see, some of those things have limitations when it comes to designing complex UI. sorry, when it comes to developing complex UI, coding complex UI, Flutter is very, very effective when it comes to coding complex UI. But those developers, it's not easy to migrate from. A lot of people find it lazy to migrate from one technology to the other. Let's assume this is an engineer, a developer that has worked with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React for a long time. You can see that the person will be actually feeling reluctant to switch to something like Flutter. Before you can do Flutter, you need to go and learn a language called Dart. And not everybody wants to do that. I know HTML, I know CSS, so I can just use that to build my system. So you could see, but then there is limitation, right? React Native is awesome. I'm not going to downplay it. It's very awesome, maintained by Facebook. But then Flutter has a lot of complex things. So it depends on the developer. If the developer is not a person who, you know, can code complex stuff, then yeah, he will tell you make sure it's not codable. And also, you know, at this part of the world, in our part of the world, I don't know how people actually understand full stack engineering. A lot of people be like, okay, I want to be full stack. So I'm also guilty of that. So I'm guilty of that. A lot of people will say, I want to be full stack. Then they end up spending little amount of time learning the technologies bit by bit. You get it? So they don't really learn everything that much. They learn bit by bit. So you can see that when they face these kind of problems, they don't really know how to code complex. Okay, so you need to spend a lot of time. If you want to be full stack, it's not easy. You have to spend a lot of time in front end, a lot of time in back end, know all these things. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel Abba. Next question. Okay, you mentioned generalist on a cross-functional team. What is their job description? How is this different from what PMs do? Okay. Wow. Okay, I think this question again. Generalist, like I said, a generalist is different from somebody working on a cross-functional team, right? I think you are trying. A lot of people are getting these things really. How would I say? They are getting it mixed up. A generalist is different from somebody working on a cross-functional team. Okay, a cross-functional team is made up of people with specific specializations working together to accomplish a goal. So, okay, what could be the difference between these two? A generalist can be somebody who can do almost anything, right? But in a cross-functional team, a cross-functional team member will not be somebody who can do everything. He does, I'm sorry about that. He does one thing for the team, and we have different people doing it for the team. Okay, so please, they are not the same. Generalists on cross-functional teams, I mean, they are not the same. Cross-functional teams are made up of people with individuals, you know, that are good. And it is never efficient for you to build a cross-functional team and bring people who are generalists on it. Then why do you need to build a cross-functional team? Why don't you just allow the generalists to do it? So cross-functional teams are made up of people with specific specializations working together. Okay, so next. Please, what does no-code design mean? Okay, no-code design. Wow. Okay, we have some drag and drop platforms available for you to build UI without coding the UI. Okay. I really, there was one, is it Apify or so. You can just go there, drag stuffs, put down, and then, you know, yeah, it actually creates a UI for you. So for the no-code platforms, you don't need to write code. There are drag and drop things you can pick and put, or, you know, you go there and you drag. Maybe you want a button, you just click on button, then you drag it and you put it wherever you want to put it. Those who have been designing websites with Wix.com, there are a lot of them, Singly or Stringly or something. WordPress, people don't really code, right? They kind of like do the drag and drop kind of things. So those are the no code stuffs available. Yeah. So that is what it means. You just, you know, find these drag and drop stuffs and then you don't have to worry your head about going to write this complex code, working on algorithms and data structure and all those things. You don't need to worry about it. Okay, next question. Aside customers retention, don't you think the disadvantage of cross-functional team outweighs the advantage and also that it's time consuming. Ha, Mr. Emmanuel. Nice to hear from you again. Good timing in. All right, so no, I would not say the disadvantages do not outweigh the advantages. Okay. Now, if you want to put a cross-functional team in order, there are measures you can put to, you can actually make to put a cross-functional team in order. And cross-functional working like a cross-functional team on a cross-functional team in an organization is actually a lot beneficial, right? It gets things done faster. It ensures that a lot of people are on the same page on something, right? So you just have to kind of like set structures. First of all, to prevent the power struggle among them, get somebody who heads the team, right? Get somebody who, if you don't want to pick somebody who is in the same level as them, then maybe you can pick somebody from the upper level management to head their team. That way, they don't have this kind of problems. But then it's really important when it comes to customer retention. Cross-functional teams work very well. Yeah, I would really recommend it if only the company can afford it. Okay, next question.
Okay, I think that's the last question. I think that's the
Okay.
last question. Okay, there are no more questions. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless for today's class. Thank you so much. And guys, please, if you have more questions after this, please, we're having a Q&A session tomorrow on our Discord community by 9 p.m. So make sure you are there to ask and come with all your questions. And also, let's follow our instructor on Twitter. It's been displayed on the screen earlier, and also I dropped it on the chat. So please do well to follow your instructor for today. That is God bless Beer Crow. Sorry, I'm not getting the sorry, I didn't get the pronunciation right. Am I correct? God bless.
Yes, it's okay. Yeah, you're trying.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So guys, please make sure we follow him. He's being displayed on the screen and also on the chat. So please make sure we connect with him and follow up with him and also reach out to him. And also please make sure you are part of the Q&A session tomorrow 9 p.m. West African time. Oh, I think there's just one more question. Do you want to take that? I'm so sorry, Ashika start.
Oh no, yeah,
Um,
let it go. Looks like we have
all
some
right.
a
I
few
think
more.
that should be the very last question.
Oh, it's gone again. Okay. Oh, it's gone. My Twitter. Okay. Is the no code design effective? If it is, why do this post vertical post if there is no code design? Okay, good question. Okay, so ha, this is a question really to. All right, so I have no issue against no code designs, right? But then I just think you don't have a lot of control over whatever is given to you. When you code it yourself, you have a lot of control and over whatever is given to you. So it comes to customization and actually owning the project, I think coding it is better. And the issue with this no code platforms is that sometimes you don't have full control over the database. Your database, you don't have full control over it. You have to be paying premiums to them, every month or yearly for you to keep your code. So it may be good for you at the beginning, but I think the best way is actually to have your own code written for you, where you have control over your own designs. So the limitation here is going to be how you want to customize it, right? How custom much you want to customize your whole product, your whole application. If it's something simple that you think the no code thing can help you, then you can work it out. But then if it is a complex application, let's assume we are building a whole e-commerce platform and we want it to be of great standard, I will say no to the no code section and then look at coding it ourselves. Okay. So, but if you are looking at designing, let's say a website, simple website to give you information like welcome to the company, about the company, contact us, that kind of 3-page website, you can use this no code platforms. It works very well. But if your customization is something that we want to work on very well, I think coding is the best way. We have control over our database. We have control over the logic. We understand the logic. That way, if there is a problem, it's easy for us to solve it. We know where the problem is coming from. Because when we are building, as software engineers, when we are building products, sometimes we know very well that this particular aspect is like a time ticking bomb. So we kind of like try to catch some errors there, So when they report the error to us, we know exactly where to go and look for it at. So yeah, we have control over the whole project. That's it. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm done. I think.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. God bless once again. And also, you can reach out to God bless on LinkedIn also. So I just dropped a link so you can reach out to him. Please make sure you connect with him on LinkedIn. And
Yeah,
also, his Twitter
and
handle is being displayed on the screen.
yeah, and I'm very active on LinkedIn, more than Twitter. It's not weird. Don't say it's weird. I'm very, very active on LinkedIn. So yeah, if you have any question, anything, please, I will really be happy to help you or anything. And also my technology stack is I have Node.js, Flutter, um, um, oh, I'm forgetting it, React.js, and also Python on Django. So if you are in that and then you need any problem with anything, let me know. Except if it is a very complex data structure question that you are going for interview, I think you should go to leetcode.com and then you see you should study it out there. So yeah, you can reach out to me anytime. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. God bless. Okay. Please, if you've not followed us on Twitch, on YouTube, please make sure you follow us. And also, please do not forget tomorrow we're having a Q&A session by 9 p.m. West African time. So please make sure you are in attendance, and it's happening on our Discord community. Thank you so much, and good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. God bless. Bye, everyone.
Bye.